My name is Yusuf Karim. I am 32 years old. The event that changed my life began on March 18, 2015. That was the day I had an encounter that I could not explain. It was the day I began to feel a strong conviction in my heart that I must leave Islam and follow Jesus within 5 days. From that moment, my peace disappeared. Fear entered my bones. Everything I believed started to shake. I was not an ordinary Muslim. My identity was strong. I was raised in a strict Islamic home in northern Nigeria. My father was a respected local cleric. He taught Quran in our community mosque. My mother was quiet, devoted, and fully covered. Religion was not just our belief, it was our life. From the age of 5, I attended Islamic school every morning before regular school. I memorized large portions of the Quran before I turned 12. My father was proud of me. He told people I would become a defender of the faith. I went to a government secondary school, but my real training happened in religious gatherings at night. There, older men taught us about loyalty, sacrifice, and the danger of Christians. They trained our minds first. They showed us videos of conflicts. They explained that defending Islam was a holy duty. Slowly, anger grew inside me. By the time I was 20, I had joined a radical group. We met secretly. We believed we were chosen. We were taught that fear was weakness. We were trained to report suspicious converts. We were told that anyone who left Islam deserved punishment. I believed it fully. I supported actions that today make me weep. My life was strict and controlled. I prayed 5 times daily. I fasted. I avoided Christians. I spoke harshly against pastors in public debates. People in my area feared me. Some respected me. Others stayed away from me. Then, March 18, 2015 came. That night, after returning from a meeting, I felt a strange heaviness in my chest. I tried to sleep, but my mind would not rest. I felt as if someone was watching me, but no one was there. I was not sick. I was not drunk. I was fully awake. In that moment, I sensed a presence. I cannot explain it with big words. It was real and calm, but strong. The presence revealed to me that I was walking in darkness. The presence showed me that Jesus was alive. The message impressed deeply on my heart that I had 5 days to decide. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was imagination. I increased my prayers. I reported my strange experience to one of our leaders. He listened carefully. He told me that such thoughts were attacks from enemies of the faith. He advised me to fast harder and distance myself from Christians completely. But the feeling did not leave. The next day, I saw a Christian neighbor who I had once threatened. When our eyes met, something inside me shifted. I remembered how we had burned his small shop months earlier because he refused to close it during prayer time. I remembered how his children cried. At that time, I felt powerful, but now I felt shame. On the second night, I had a vivid dream. I saw myself standing before a bright light. I felt small and exposed. The light did not shout at me. It revealed my actions. I saw fear in the faces of people I had intimidated. I saw pain in families who lost loved ones because of violence our group supported. When I woke up, my body was shaking. By the 3rd day, my behavior had changed. My fellow group members noticed. One of them asked me why I looked troubled. I told him I was tired. He studied my face carefully. Suspicion entered his eyes. That same evening, one of our leaders called me privately. He told me they had observed my silence. He warned me that doubt was betrayal. He reminded me of the punishment for anyone who considered leaving. He described how traitors were handled. His voice was calm, but the meaning was heavy. Fear gripped me. In our community, leaving Islam was not just a private decision. It was shame to the family. It could mean public beating. It could mean isolation. In extreme cases, it could mean death. I had personally witnessed men tied to poles and whipped. I had seen houses destroyed. I had watched families reject their own children. Now I was standing on that edge. On the fourth day, my younger brother noticed I was not eating well. He asked if I was sick. I looked at him and felt tears forming. If I chose Jesus, I could lose him. I could lose my parents. My father's reputation would collapse. My mother would cry in shame before relatives. That night, 2 members of the group came to my room unexpectedly. They searched my belongings. They checked my phone. They questioned my recent movements. One of them reminded me of the oath we took. He revealed that anyone who broke it would face consequences without mercy. I did not sleep. On the 5th morning, I felt something different. The fear was still there, but another feeling was growing stronger. Peace. It did not remove the danger, but it made me see clearly. I realized I had spent my life defending a system through violence. Now I was being invited to surrender through love. Before sunset that day, I made my decision in my heart. And that decision would cost me everything. What happened after that choice is something I will never forget. The persecution that followed was not small. It was brutal, humiliating, and painful in ways I never imagined. I woke up the next morning with heavy eyes. I had not slept well. My room felt smaller than before. The walls felt close. My mind was loud. I tried to continue my normal routine, morning prayer, washing, dressing, walking to the mosque, but something inside me felt different. When I bowed down, I felt empty. When I stood up, I felt watched. That afternoon, I attended a meeting with members of our radical group. We sat in a small room behind a shop. The fan above us was turning slowly. The air was hot. One of the leaders spoke about loyalty and sacrifice. He explained that enemies were increasing. He revealed that some weak members had secretly left the faith. He showed anger while describing what happened to those people. As he spoke, my heart beat faster. I knew what happened to those who left. I had seen it before. I remembered one young man who converted to Christianity. The community dragged him into the open field. He was beaten with sticks. His own uncle refused to help him. His mother cried but stood far away because she was afraid. Later, his family house was burned at night. That memory returned to me like fire in my mind. And now I was thinking about leaving. On the second day, my father noticed my silence. He asked why I was not debating strongly like before. He told me I looked weak. He reminded me that our family name carried honor. He revealed that many people in the community respected us because of our strict faith. His words were heavy. I felt trapped between heaven and home. That night, I could not eat. My mother placed food in front of me. I stared at it. She touched my shoulder and showed concern. I wanted to tell her everything, but fear closed my mouth. If she knew, she might cry. If my father knew, he might report me to the leaders to protect his reputation. On the third day, the pressure increased. 2 members of the group followed me quietly after afternoon prayer. I noticed their steps behind me. They pretended to discuss normal things, but their eyes were on me. One of them later told me they were watching everyone carefully because betrayal had become common. Betrayal. That word echoed in my head. That evening, I was called to a private discussion. The room was dark. Only one bulb was on. The leader sat in front of me. He asked about my recent behavior. I told him I was tired. He did not look convinced. He reminded me of the oath we had taken. He described the punishment for those who dishonored the group. He showed me a scar on his arm and explained that loyalty sometimes requires blood. I left that room shaking. On the fourth day, rumors started spreading. A neighbor avoided greeting me. A young member stared at me with suspicion. I felt isolated even before I made any decision. I began to imagine different endings. I imagined being dragged into the street. I imagined my father turning his back on me to protect himself. I imagined my younger brother being mocked in school because of me. Shame, rejection, violence. That night, I heard footsteps outside my room. Someone knocked hard on the door. When I opened it, two men entered without smiling. They searched my belongings. They checked my books. They went through my phone. One of them told me they were only being careful because enemies were clever. Their carefulness felt like a warning. After they left, I sat on the floor. My hands were cold. I realized that if I followed Jesus, I would not only lose comfort, I could lose safety. On the fifth day, the fear became physical. My chest felt tight. My breathing was heavy. When I walked outside, I felt as if eyes were everywhere. Every whisper sounded like my name. But something else was growing inside me. Conviction. I remembered the presence I felt on the first night. I remembered the deep peace that came with it. It did not remove the danger, but it gave me courage. That afternoon, I walked past the house of the Christian neighbor whose shop we had burned months before. His children were playing in the sand. When they saw me, they ran inside quickly. Fear was still in their eyes. That moment broke me. I realized I had been part of creating fear in others. Now, I was afraid of receiving the same. The sun began to set on the fifth day. The sky turned orange. I stood alone behind our house. My heart was pounding. I knew the countdown was ending. Whatever choice I made would change everything. And I knew one thing clearly. Persecution was not just a story I had watched happen to others. It was about to become my own reality. On the evening of the fifth day, as the sun was going down, I stood behind our house. The sky was orange and quiet. My heart was beating fast. I knew I could not run from what I felt inside anymore. In that quiet moment, I surrendered my heart to Jesus. I did not shout. I did not make noise. I simply accepted that He was Lord. Peace entered me, but danger also moved closer. The next morning, everything began. I decided to speak carefully to someone I trusted slightly. He was a member of our group, but younger than me. I told him I was confused about some teachings. I watched his face change. His eyes became sharp. He told me confusion was a sign of weakness. He revealed that leaders were already watching me. That same afternoon, I was called to a gathering. When I arrived, the room was full. The atmosphere was heavy. No one smiled. The leader stood in front. He began to list signs of betrayal. He described secret meetings. He mentioned strange behavior. Then he turned his eyes toward me. My legs felt weak. He asked directly about my faith. I did not deny what was in my heart. I admitted that I believed Jesus was the Son of God. Silence filled the room. The first slap came suddenly. My head turned to the side. Before I could stand straight, another blow landed on my face. Someone kicked my legs and I fell to the floor. Feet and fists followed. I covered my head with my hands. Pain exploded through my ribs and back. They did not only beat me, they accused me. They called me traitor. They said I had shamed my father. One of them told me I deserved death under their law. After the beating, they dragged me outside. Dust covered my clothes. Blood was on my lip. People nearby watched but did not interfere. Fear controls crowds. I was taken to my father. When we reached home, my father's face was dark with anger. The leader explained everything to him. He told my father I had abandoned Islam. He revealed that I was now a disgrace to our family. My father did not defend me. He struck me in front of them. He told me I had destroyed his honor. He ordered me to leave his house immediately. My mother stood at the doorway crying, but she did not step forward. My younger brother looked confused and afraid. Within 1 hour, I lost my home. I walked out with only the clothes I was wearing. My body was aching. My heart felt broken, but strangely, I still felt peace deep inside. That night, I slept outside behind an unfinished building. Mosquitoes bit my skin. The ground was cold. Every sound made me jump. I feared they might return to finish what they started. The next day, rumors spread quickly. Neighbors avoided me. Shop owners refused to sell me food. One man told me I was no longer welcome in the area. Children pointed at me and whispered. On the 3rd day after my confession, 2 men found me near the market. They grabbed my shirt and warned me to leave town. One of them showed me a knife. He revealed that accidents happen to traders at night. I understood the message. But persecution did not stop with threats. A few days later, I tried to visit my mother secretly. I stood near our house at night. She came out quietly when she saw me from a distance. She cried as she looked at my bruises. She told me she loved me, but could not support my decision openly. She revealed that my father had warned her never to speak to me again. When my father discovered that I had come near the house, he reported my presence to community leaders. The next evening, I was captured by young men from the group. They tied my hands with rope and took me to a small storage room behind the mosque. It was dark and smelled of dust. They left me there without food or water for many hours. They told me I would remain there until I repented and returned to Islam. Hunger began to hurt. My throat was dry. My body was still sore from earlier beatings. In that darkness, I prayed silently. On the 2nd night in that room, one of the guards entered. He told me I still had a chance to reverse my decision. He explained that if I denied Jesus, everything could return to normal. Family, respect, safety. The offer was real, but so was my faith. When I refused to deny Christ, anger returned. They beat me again, this time with sticks on my back and legs. Each strike burned. I fell to the ground. I felt tears on my face, not only from pain, but from heartbreak. I was now the one suffering the persecution I once supported. After 2 days, they released me, but ordered me to leave the city permanently. They warned that if I returned, the punishment would be final. I left before sunrise. I walked alone on a dusty road. My body was weak. My clothes were torn. I had no money, no family, no protection. But I was not alone.